virtues of Hecate, we're standing in two different timelines. We're referencing the Platonic foundation from 2,000 years ago and our project where we put these together in a modern context. Stay tuned while we talk about those. Welcome back to By Her Fires. I'm Reverend Susanna Olson. First thing I want to mention, as many of you are aware, I am neurodivergent and I have dyslexia, so I do have my notes, so you'll see me looking away from the camera from time to time in order to make sure we stay on track and I don't get us off the rails. So today we are talking about one of my favorite topics, the five virtues. And we will go through their history as well as how we came up with those to associate them with the current Covenant of Hekate. So the five virtues, compassion, courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom, are a result of the 2013 community project within the Covenant of Hekate. So what we did as a group was come together and discuss which virtues we thought most closely aligned with cosmic world soul energy. And that's how we at the Covenant of Hekate have agreed to view Hecate. So we dug through and there was a lot of discussion on it, and we settled on a connection to the Platonic virtues, or the ideal state of being. The ideal state of being, according to these virtues, were temperance, which is abstaining or being moderate. It's also self-mastery. It's internal governance. It allows us to remain steady and balanced, and that there's no single part of your life that goes up higher while leaving others behind. So it's just exactly like the scales of balance, right? Or the balance scales. The next one was courage or fortitude. And this was not simply just bravery, right? We're not talking about just bravery in that you're doing something that is scary, but more so that you're standing up to an unpopular opinion or standing up for an unpopular opinion. Plato saw this as a quality that protects reason. Next would be wisdom. Wisdom was like practical reason, like book learning, right? You've got all your information here that you're reading and learning, but also the sense of understanding where knowledge and wisdom come from, right? To understand how we implement that into our daily lives. And one of the final ones was justice. And justice was considered a master virtue because it represented perfect harmony of the other three virtues. So in our discussion, what we found was missing from these was compassion. We felt that compassion should be added as a foundational virtue because we want to approach all beings with a sense of empathy, understanding, and of course, compassion. So once we came together on our words, we set about to try and decide how we could implement them and if it made sense that they were all part of our basic fundamental view of what an upstanding, responsible person would be. So if we started with compassion, compassion is an active word, right? There's not just sympathy that are for people who are in an undesirable situation, but it's also a feeling to not be contributing to the suffering of others. This plays really heavily on me, and it's something that I chose, for example, by leaving Wix platform. I want to be of right work, of right energy, of right living. So I don't want to continue to feed into something that brings suffering on others. And an affirmation for this, which I hope to provide you an affirmation for each one, is today I choose to be the calm in the storm. I will act with empathy and ensure my presence reduces suffering and doesn't increase it. That's one of the main reasons that I choose to live a life that is a compassionate life and that it doesn't encourage harm or suffering on others. And of course, that's my vegan lifestyle. The next virtue that we discussed was courage. And courage is standing firm in your convictions, even if they're unpopular. Again, my decision to leave Wix, while may not, because they are actively contributing to the economy that finances a genocidal point of view, I choose not to contribute to that. And even though some may look at it as me being, I'm not being fair or, what have you, I'm standing up for what I believe in, regardless of what what the outcome might be. So an affirmation that you could use to bring this into your daily world would be, I am formidable in my convictions. I have the strength to stand at the crossroads, hold my torch high, even when the wind blows against me. So there's two references to Hecate in that affirmation, as well as calling on that energy to help promote courage in your life. The next one is temperance. Now, temperance is a huge challenge for me. Being a neurodivergent person, being a people pleaser, I do everything I can do to help other people, sometimes to my own detriment. I need to learn moderation and self-control. And that's what temperance is, right? We think of temperance in the United States anyway as abstaining from something. But really what temperance is a balance of the extremes, right? It's self-control in thought and in action. In order to do that, you need to find a way to restrict parts of your life that maybe don't need to be in the public eye, or maybe something that does need to be in the public eye, in order to find that balance. Some examples of doing this in the real world might be holding your tongue in an online argument, knowing when to stop doom scrolling, and then look for finding the middle way. Now, when I say the middle way, I am certainly not suggesting that we don't take a side, right? That's not what this means, right? It just means finding balance. It doesn't mean, giving up control or giving up what you believe in order to keep peace. I saw a quote some time ago that really resonated with me, is that you don't need to attend every fight you're invited to, right? Every time someone says something different, if I had $1 for every time someone posted a meme that was hailing Hecate as a crone, I would be a millionaire. We know based on the art, we know based on the literature that that's simply not the case. There was a book that came out, Aleister Crowley referenced her as a hag, and then from then on the world changed and all of a sudden she was this evil dark being. I don't hope, bringing it back, my apologies, I bounced off of the script, and now we're talking about something that, while is important and interesting, is not necessarily related to the topic at hand. Find your middle path. Find the way for you to hold your tongue with possibly this affirmation: I seek the middle path. I am a master of my reactions, choosing moderation over chaos and balance over burnout. That's what you want to focus on with this particular virtue. The next virtue is justice. And this is really more about personal integrity. It's the moral and physical rightness, behaving fairly towards others, even when it's contradictory. So what we're talking about here is that even though there are lots of people that can't communicate with one another simply because it's a constant struggle back and forth of one-upsmanship. What we're looking for is, even if there's someone you disagree with, someone who's fundamentally a person that you cannot get along with, they still deserve the right to be treated fairly. And what we're talking about this is right now is treating people fairly online and in person, not just passing judgment based on hearsay, but seeking the truth that lies between the two sides of the story. Um, there's always several sides to a story, and somewhere mixed in the middle is the truth. So what we strive for in our daily lives is to look for that, to be sure that everyone is treated fairly, equally, and they have the same opportunities that everyone else has. Again, that's another reason for my political stance that I have. It's another reason that I work with the Blessing Box of Goldsboro, is to make sure that as I can find a way to help even the playing field in any way I can. The final virtue that we're going to talk about today is wisdom. Wisdom is the foresight to act in a manner that's most beneficial in any given situation. So it's not acting irrationally. It's not acting on emotion. It's not acting on, what this person said or he said, she said, all those kinds of things. What we're looking at here is wisdom is the key that tells you where all the virtues lie and when to use them. That's how I like to think of it. An affirmation for that is, I use my experience as my guide. I possess wisdom to know which key to turn and the foresight to act for the highest good, right? So the whole thing around all of the virtues, all 5 of them, is to really further a positive environment so that everyone can thrive. At least that's how I look at it. Now, if you want to dive deeper into the history of this or understanding the Covenant of Hekate in general, you can certainly go to HecateCovenant.com, and you can find all the information about the project where we created the virtues and really how we go about using them in our daily lives. Also, if you're interested in supporting the work that I do with the Blessing Box of Goldsboro, you can go to my website, hecatebremo.org, and I've got several bits of literature that you can download. And when you buy them, it helps me stock the Blessing Box to make sure that I'm doing my part to be a person of wisdom, of justice, of temperance, of courage, and of course the compassion that allows me to continue to move forward with my goals. So I know it's a relatively short talk today, but I think those are the things I wanted to cover. I wanted to also talk about a couple of things that are happening in the Covenant of Hekate, Hecate Secretary Bremo group. Oh wow, I said that backwards. My apologies again. The Sanctuary of Hekate Bremo group on Facebook. I recently released my Crossroads Layout, and I'm going to try to show this to you, but with the screen it might be a little difficult, but I'm going to try to hold it up and show you. So that was my layout. Certainly pause it, but you can go to the group to see the actual layout. This is a new card layout that I created for the Crossroads Oracle. Basically, it has, in its first position, it has illuminate, second position is unlock, and the third position is release. And when you're looking at these, what you're going to be thinking about is, let me just go over to that page. What you're going to be thinking about when you're pulling these cards is, in the illuminate phase, this will reveal the current energy surrounding where you are, right? This is the light. This is what you need to reveal. The unlock or the key is going to be the specific energy required to open a way forward. And then finally, the release is that energy that you need to get rid of in order to continue moving forward with your day. So be sure to check those out. Again, that's in the Sanctuary of Hekate Bremo group on the Facebook page. So let me get back to my notes. Okay, and we are now going to pull 3 cards from my Crossroads Oracle deck. The Crossroads Oracle deck is a creation that I made for the Covenant of Hekate Torchbearer program. When you join the Covenant of Hekate, you have the ability to move up into different ranks. You start out as a devotee. You can move into torchbearer after working with a mentor and completing a specific line of study. You also have a project that you have to complete, and that's what this deck is part of that project that I completed when I became a torchbearer back in 2014. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull some cards. We're going to pull 3 cards. The first card we have is Shadow. So the Shadow has 3 key words, and those are darkness, reflection, and inner self. So when we're looking at that Crossroads layout, this is in the illuminate section. So we need to shine a light on the shadow, which is very interesting. I like how that played out. Take some time and reflect on what is hidden beyond, what is hidden behind that you're trying to accomplish or that might be standing in your way. Shine a light on that in order to understand where you need to take your next steps. Our next position is unlock. So I'm going to hold this card up for you. Now this is the astral energy card. Now this one is about heritage, legacy, and guidance. Those are our 3 key words for this. So when we think about unlocking, right, we're thinking about this is what you need to move forward. This is where you're going to get the information. So it's telling us with this is to look into ourselves, look into our legacy, look into the ancestors, or call on the energy of the ancestors in order to open this up. Now this could be very figuratively, or it might be literally, you know, maybe you need to go talk to grandma. It never hurts to talk to grandma. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to go to our final card, and this is in the release section. The release section, we have the key. So these key words are passage, liberation, and knowledge. So this is telling us that we need to release that knowledge. We need to give back or put that information out in play so that others can benefit from this. So I'm going to hold up all 3 cards for you. And there's all 3 cards. And again, this is part of the Crossroads Oracle that you can get on my website. If you're interested in a personal reading, I also do oracle readings, so we can get together and get on a Zoom together or on a call and pull 3 cards for you, or however many cards you like, in order to complete your reading. You can also purchase photo readings. I do have quite a history of being very accurate as it relates to reading photos and understanding the energy within them and relaying that information. So that is our discussion for today. If this resonated with you, you know, certainly leave me a comment, leave some information in the chat. Tell me what's working with you. Tell me how these tools help you, these virtues help you in your daily life. If you've not learned about them or like to get more information, as I mentioned, I've got several books on my website that you can go and download PDFs for in order to help support my work with the Blessing Box of Goldsboro. I hope that this has been educational. I look forward to talking with you soon. Until we meet again, have a glorious day.